making our mark. People were buzzing. They knew we were strong. Again, overall quickest or second quickest. And you couldn't ask for more. It was paying off. Rhys loved the car. He was having fun. He's now a Porsche believer. We were thrilled.
Everything, the build and the design of the car was working out. It's what we had planned to do, and we had been achieving all of those goals.
Coming into race week, we felt really good, but, again, keeping it humble and modest. Anything can happen. I've never really worried about the other competitors. The number one competitor at Pikes Peak is Mother Nature and the mountain itself.
So throughout the course of week and practice, we were just making sure we were just staying ahead of the competition comfortably. But we knew if we were running a couple of seconds ahead of the competition per mile, that would give us a 24-second advantage, and that would put us well under the current record in class and potentially break 9 minutes. So day one, we start in the middle section. It's where you climb the highest elevation in a single 2-mile section, about 2,500 feet. And that's over a section of road that is hard braking, low speed, 180-degree hairpins, and then acceleration points to the next braking point. It's really like a drag race setup as you exit the corner, and then it reverts back to why we went to Horse Thief Mile to develop the low-speed mechanical grip out of the car for those hairpin turns. That's when I really first got exposed to why a Porsche works so good and really why it is best suited for this race, maybe over any other car as a rear engine, mid-engine kind of setup. We then move to the top section. You've crested over the top of the mountain, and now you're running on the Razorback or the ridgeline to the summit. You're going from first gear to third gear kind of corner environment to flat out fifth and sixth. This requires a different level of confidence. You really need to trust the car, the setup. It's not about full throttle, it's about full commitment. I've always been quick up there. The balance of the car felt good, and we laid down a really good time on the third run. And from there, we really knew we were going to be in a good place leading into qualifying on the next day. So day 3 for us was qualifying. The ground temperatures were 70 degrees, ambient temperatures were warm, and it was a good representation of what race day should be. I took it a little safe on the first 2 corners, just to feel the medium compound tire again, with all the changes that we had done in the car with spring balance and power supply and everything. And then after the first 2 corners, just pushed hard. Broke the qualifying record by another 2.5 seconds, I believe it was. And at that point, set a time that was 6 seconds quicker in qualifying than any Porsche had ever gone, and kind of stamped the seal on the fact that this is the fastest Porsche to ever tackle Pikes Peak. At that point, you have the confidence that you have the right balance in the car, you have the right setup, and you can trust it. That leads into race day. We were on point to set a new world record, break 9 minutes, and achieve everything that we had spoken about 6 months prior.
We were getting faster and faster. We were having fun. Everyone knew we were flying, and we were. So your enthusiasm grows. It was hard not to get excited, and we were second fastest overall on the hill. We qualified third, but we had that second place car covered up on the rest of the mountain. We were right where we wanted to be.
So the unique thing about Pikes Peak, the only thing you don't have control of, is you don't control the weather.
It was really hard not to be really nervous when the weather reports started coming in.
Storms set in, you had snow, you had ice, you had rain, you had low fog and visibility, wet track. Pretty much in my history of running the event for 20 plus years, I've never seen conditions like this. And it came in at exactly the wrong time. It sucks the wind out of you. It takes all that adrenaline, all that energy, positive energy that you've experienced from ticking every box, getting everything right, proving that to your competition that what you stated in your press release of what you were going to do and you achieved, and it just knocks you on the ground.
It was hard. It was really hard to be excited anymore. Everyone was disappointed. Every team. At this point, you're competing against Mother Nature.
But the race must go on. There's a title to be achieved as the fastest that year. There's no records that are going to be broken, so as a driver, you have to accept that. As a team, you have to accept that.
Last minute thoughts. It's kind of a shame we've had such perfect weather all of the month of June. We'll just see what happens. Really, the most important thing is that the car makes it up to the top safely for Rhys.
So with the weather changes, all of that effort, that emotion that you'd put into days, weeks, months of preparation to define this car for a dry race course had all been thrown out the window. The intensity of the visibility just went to another level. The fog was so low and was so thick that you were purely just kind of going off a muscle memory instinct. This was probably the closest to reality of closing your eyes and trying to envision the road. It's kind of like losing your senses, your taste, your hearing, your vision. And without that, you just cannot compliantly place the car on the road. That was probably the biggest challenge and the biggest risk.
Well, that sucked.
Having to compensate for the weather, we were some 2 minutes slower than what our target time was in the dry. I wasn't willing to risk anything. I'm going to drive the car the best of my ability that day and hopefully still pull off a win. We did that. We won.
We won our class and we got the qualifying record and made our statement to all the officials and other teams. You know, we were strong. We were prepared.
7 hours old. You're right before you. Nice job. Way to hang in there.
So you do everything right for weeks, for months. You hit all your targets. Everything is performing flawlessly. Meticulous details are checked. The weather changes, you get sick. And, well, that's racing. I guess it happens.
One of the biggest victories for me, honestly, was turning Rhys into a believer and showing him a really, really good time in the car. But when he started talking about driving again next year was probably one of the biggest victories for me. And he meant it. So hopefully we get the opportunity to do it.
If this partnership was to continue and we were to go back with this car to the mountain, I already know that this car will break 9 minutes quite comfortably. what the team as a whole was able to achieve is just remarkable, and they now have the eyes of the world on them as the top dogs in a Porsche product.